Good evening, you're watching Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. On the show tonight, our special focus this evening. Earlier this month, a one-day-old baby in the national capital died because his parents were too poor to afford private healthcare and they were turned away by 2 government hospitals. The baby died while waiting for treatment in the 3rd hospital. So what we decided to do was to pick up a hidden camera and travel with a poor family from government hospital to government hospital here in the national capital and to see how they were treated by the hospital and how they were treated by doctors. In the end, what you're going to see will startle you and horrify you and perhaps sadden you as well. Sonal Mehrotra has the story.
Just imagine if someone you loved was ill. You had very little money and no one offered any help. Even the government hospitals meant to help the poor and the needy decided to look the other way. As more and more cases come up of poor people being refused not just by private but even government hospitals, we at NDTV decided to investigate. This is Madhulika, 35 years old, desperate for a doctor and a hospital to take care of her husband Bablu. 38 years old Bablu was diagnosed of brain tumour in 1999. 4 years back he had a surgery at AIIMS and was declared tumour free. But recently, about 20 days back, he developed a growth on his forehead, started getting frequent fits and gradually lost control of both his legs. He's now bedridden. Doctors in his hometown Gaya in Bihar said the growth was highly dangerous and needed urgent medical attention from specialized doctors. So Madhulika rushed to Delhi. They went back to AIIMS. The doctor here is willing to see them but wants an MRI done before. The wait to get an MRI done at AIIMS is 7 long months. So for 2 weeks, Madhulika has been running around to get an MRI. In any private lab, an MRI would cost close to 12,000 rupees, a price impossible to bear for the family. Government hospitals are their only option. On 18th morning, we decided to go with her. We start with the super speciality RML hospital. Medical documents in hand, we approach the OPD shift doctor. He doesn't even see us and we are immediately directed to another department. After some pestering, we convince the doctor on duty to come out and examine the patient inside the ambulance. Just this, and the doctor walks away, saying he has other patients to look after. We turn the ambulance to another high-end hospital in central Delhi, LNJP, and follow the same drill.
सर एक्चुअली एम्स वाले में काफ़ी टाइम में दिखा रहे हैं 3 बार की सर्जरी हो चुकी है एक्चुअली अब एक्चुअली हमारे पास इतना फंड नहीं है सर एक एमआरआई है तो एमआरआई हो जाएगा एमआरआई के लिए डेट लेनी पड़ती है मैम चक्कर मामले में बात की थी सीएमओ से बात करो पीछे है ना सीएमओ पीछे बैठा वहां पर है ना सीएमओ पीछे बैठा वहां पर उनसे बात करें मैं हम चाह रहे हैं कि अगर ये ट्रीटमेंट अगर क्योंकि हम एम्स में अफोर्ड नहीं कर पा रहे हैं अगर मालूम ऑपरेशन भी लगता है तो लाख रुपए खर्च हो जाते हैं हमारे तो हमारे पास पैसा जो जमीन थी हमने सब बेच दी एक स्वेलिंग आई है अगर एमआईआर हो जाए तो
हमारे यहाँ इमरजेंसी में नहीं होती है इमरजेंसी में एमआईआर नहीं होती है उनको पहले डॉक्टर को दिखाना पड़ेगा न्यूरो सर्जरी मंडे 2 o'clock शुरू होती है मंडे एंड थर्सडे At GB Pant, we are told to try other hospitals as the treatment for this complicated case was not available.
वो दिक्कत हो रही है उसमें कुछ कर नहीं सकते अगर एम्स वाले क्योंकि एम्स में कम से कम 6 महीने लगेंगे इसका एमआर होने में वो इतनी वेटिंग चल रही है।
तो अब मैं क्या करूँ?
मैं चाहता कुछ एमआरआई हो जाए हमारे यहाँ पे।
एमआरआई ऐसे नहीं करा सकते ना, एक नंबर चाहिए होता है, इमरजेंसी नंबर या कुछ चीज चाहिए होती है। अभी आप सिर्फ डॉक्यूमेंट ही लेके आए हो ना?
नहीं, पेशेंट भी है पेशेंट बाहर।
पेशेंट बाहर, यही तो कह रहा हूँ, न्यूरो सर्जरी का है, हम न्यूरोलॉजी के हम पेशेंट, मेरा डिपार्टमेंट नहीं तो मैं एडमिट नहीं कर सकता उसको।
At GTB, these were the doctor's alarming revelations. Our last hope, Safdarjung Hospital, was no luck either.
देखो, ना तो अभी सीटी स्कैन हो पाएगा, ना यहाँ पे एमआरआई हो पाएगा, ठीक है। इसके लिए आपको ओपीडी से लेना पड़ती है डेट, वो होता है
सर। उसमें काफ़ी टाइम लग रहा है और वही दिक्कत आ रही है।
वही प्राइवेट से करवा सकते हो पैसे।
सारी ज़मीन जो हमारी सब उसी में चली गई है सर।
आप मेरी बात सुन लो एक चीज़,
मैं आज प्राइवेट में गया था,
मेरी बात सुनो,
कम से कम 15,000 रुपये बता रहे हैं।
मेरी बात सुनो, सीटी स्कैन एमआरआई के मैंने आपको बता दिया कि क्या सीन है, ठीक है। ये पेशेंट जाएगा न्यूरो सर्जरी के अंदर,
ठीक है, मैं बात
वो कुछ करते हैं तो ठीक है, नहीं तो बाकी हम इसमें कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे।
इमरजेंसी में कुछ हो पाएगा?
हम इसमें कुछ कर नहीं पाएंगे कि आप बोलोगे सीटी स्कैन कराओ, ये कराओ, तो वो सब नहीं हो पाएगा। जो जिस तरह हो तो वो सब नहीं हो पाएगा। जो जिस तरह एमआरआई कराओ तो वो नहीं हो पाएगा।
Madhulika is more than just wife to Bablu. She feeds him, cleans him, gives him a shower every day, along with handling her 3 kids and an old mother-in-law. They sold their land and now live on limited savings and with help of relatives, as Bablu was the sole breadwinner for the family.
सारे हॉस्पिटल मैं इनको बहुत जगह लेकर गया तो कोई इन्हें देखना नहीं चाहता है। डॉक्टर इनका रिपोर्ट देखते के साथ ही कहते हैं कि ये मैं नहीं कर सकता हूँ। मतलब कहने का मतलब है कि कोई भी डॉक्टर हो तो अपना पल्ला झाड़ना चाहते हैं, वो सीरियस पेशेंट को लेना नहीं चाहते हैं। वो
ये कहते हैं कि वैसे ज़िंदगी जी कर क्या करेंगे, चल फिर नहीं सकते हैं तो क्या करेंगे। ऐसे कभी कभी रोने लगते हैं कि अपने बच्चे लोग हम बढ़ते हुए देखना चाहते हैं कि बड़ा होकर वो लोग कैसे लगेगा, क्या करेगा। और वैसे बोलते हैं तो हम लोग को भी लगता है क्या करें, बहुत प्रॉब्लम है। मैम ठीक हो जाएंगे, चलने फिरने नहीं भी चल पाएंगे, सामने तो रहेंगे, ठीक हो जाए बस।
And it's not just a complicated neurological procedure that the hospitals say no to. NDTV found out that refusing or avoiding patients is a common trend across all hospitals. Even those in urgent need of medical care are vehemently refused, all on trivial grounds.
एक एक पलंग पे 3-3 औरतें, हमारी तो बहू नीचे पड़ी है, सब 2-2-3 भैया जो को 20 दिन से बच्चा मरा हुआ पेट में, वो भी नीचे पड़ी है, उसको भी बिस्तर नहीं है।
गरीब आदमी हम, मेहनत मजदूरी वाले आदमी, दिहाड़ी वाले। अब हमारे पास इतना पैसा होता तो हम प्राइवेट में नहीं लेके जाते, सरकारी में जरूरी मरना था। अब उस बहू के लिए ना बेड है, ना कोई सुनवाई है, ना कुछ है।
हम कम से कम 7-8 हॉस्पिटल जाने के बाद जो है हम लोग इधर आए, किसी ने हमको बताया कि जीवन में अच्छा ट्रीटमेंट होता है, लेकिन यहाँ से भी निराशा हाथ लगी।
For Bablu's case, we got in touch with their foundation and they got his MRI done for free. But he's not alone. There are thousands of Bablus, if not lakhs, out on the streets, struggling for urgent medical care every day. All who have been failed by a public health system. With camera person Pavan Kumar in New Delhi, I'm Sonal Mehrotra, NDTV.
Well, incidentally, before we aired that story today, the National Human Rights Commission actually sent notices to the Union Health Secretary, the Chief Secretary and the Delhi government asking for a report in 4 weeks on the steps that have been taken to address the precarious situation when it comes to public health care. The NHRC saying it's shaken by agonizing stories in the media of people waiting for medical care, even in cases where the lack of care may even be life-threatening, saying that the right to life is something that is the state's obligation. I spoke earlier this evening to Delhi's Health Minister Satyendra Jain for more on the story and what it shows. Satyendra ji, our story today, shows how poor patients are finding it difficult to get even a basic MRI done at a government hospital. जिन लोगों के साथ हमने ये story करी है, they were turned away from one hospital after another, including RML, LNJP and others. What is your reaction, sir?
देखिए मैडम, पहली बात तो जो MRI बताया ना आपने, बेसिक में टेस्ट में नहीं आती है, और गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल्स में मुझे लगता है दिल्ली के अंदर शायद 4 या 5 जगह ही इसकी फैसिलिटी है। और MRI कहते हैं काफ़ी स्पेशलाइज्ड टेस्ट है, और उनके पास काफ़ी लंबी वेटिंग लिस्ट नॉर्मली, अगर आप किसी भी सरकारी हॉस्पिटल में जाएंगे, इंक्लूडिंग एम्स में भी जाएंगे, तो बहुत लंबी वेटिंग लिस्ट है। और ये डिफ़िकल्टी है, जैसे हमने आने के बाद चेक किया तो MRI तो बहुत बड़ी चीज़ है, बट उसके अलावा भी बहुत सारे टेस्ट ऐसे हैं कि जिनके लिए महीनों की वेट करनी पड़ती है। जैसे अल्ट्रासाउंड कोई ले लीजिएगा, बेसिक टेस्ट है, अल्ट्रासाउंड तो बहुत ही बेसिक टेस्ट है, उसके लिए भी 1-1 महीना या 1.5 महीने की वेटिंग चल रही है। तो अगर आपको ये प्रॉब्लम आई है तो मैं बिल्कुल मान सकता हूँ कि दिल्ली में गरीब के लिए नहीं, अमीर के लिए भी प्रॉब्लम है, सरकारी अस्पतालों में तो खास तौर से।
नहीं, ये तो आपने सही कहा कि जहां तक MRIs का सवाल है उसमें बहुत टाइम लगता है अपॉइंटमेंट लेने में। एम्स में तो 7 महीने का वेटिंग लिस्ट है MRI करने के लिए। लेकिन यू वुड अग्री मिस्टर जैन दैट ऑल ऑफ दिस रिफ्लेक्ट्स वेरी बैडली ऑन द स्टेट ऑफ हेल्थ केयर इन द नेशनल कैपिटल। हम दिल्ली की बात कर रहे हैं।
देखिएगा, ये तो मैं कह ही रहा हूँ ना, तो इसको एक्सेप्ट करने में मुझे कोई दिक्कत नहीं है कि है हालत ख़राब ही है। और आपने तो MRI की बात की, आप किसी पेशेंट के साथ जाइएगा, अगर OPD में आप जाते हैं सरकारी हॉस्पिटल के अंदर, तो आपको पता लगेगा कि लोग 6 बजे सुबह जाते हैं और उनका नंबर 12 बजे आता है, और टेस्ट उसके अगले दिन होते हैं, दवाई उससे अगले दिन मिलती है। तो वो तो सॉरी स्टेट है, हम मान रहे हैं इस बात को कि हालात जितने अच्छे होने चाहिए थे, जितने वेल मैनेज होने चाहिए थे, उतने वेल मैनेज नहीं।
लेकिन फिर सत्येंद्र जी, वो सोल्यूशन क्या है उसका? एक चीज़ है कि दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट ने, आपका जो गवर्नमेंट है दिल्ली में, यू स्टार्टेड दीज मोहल्ला क्लिनिक्स, अभी चीफ मिनिस्टर ने इनॉग्रेट किया है। शायद दैट इज पॉसिबली एन आंसर। डू यू थिंक कि फ्यूचर उसी में है?
देखिएगा, हाँ बिल्कुल मैडम, बिल्कुल 100% ये फ्यूचर है। आज देखिएगा ना, एक गरीब आदमी है, अगर उसको फीवर भी हो जाता है, किसी भी सरकारी हॉस्पिटल में हो जाता है, पहली बात तो उसको एक आदमी साथ लेके जाना पड़ेगा, 1 या 2 लोगों को लेके जाना पड़ता है, उसका घर से जाने आने का किराया लगता है। उसके बाद वो सुबह 6 बजे घर से निकलते हैं, 12 बजे डॉक्टर के पास नंबर आता है, उसके बाद जब वो टेस्ट लिखे होते हैं, वो टेस्ट कराने के लिए उसको नेक्स्ट डे जाना होता है, और उसकी रिपोर्ट उससे अगले दिन मिलती है, फिर वो दवाई लेता है। तो 2 दिन 3 दिन 4 दिन उसको जाना पड़ता है, साथ में 1 या 2 लोग होते हैं, उनकी सबकी दिहाड़ी जाती है। तो ये बहुत डिफ़िकल्ट प्रोसेस है। जो हमने आम आदमी क्लिनिक बनाए हैं, उसके अंदर डॉक्टर की कंसल्टेशन वहीं पर होती है, आपको दवाई भी वहीं मिलती है, टेस्ट भी जो नॉर्मल वाले डेली वाले टेस्ट होते हैं 50 टेस्ट वहीं पर हो रहे हैं, और आपको वेटिंग पीरियड भी नहीं है। वेटिंग के लिए क्या होता है, आपको जाते टोकन नंबर मिल जाता है, आप अपने घर वापस चले जाइएगा, 2 घंटे बाद नंबर आने वाला है, वापस आ जाइएगा। तो अगर हम बहुत जो हॉस्पिटल्स हैं जो उसमें रश है, उसको रश को कम कर देंगे, तो हॉस्पिटल में जिनको वाकई में सीरियस प्रॉब्लम्स हैं उनके लिए भी जगह मिल जाएगी। आज डॉक्टर से बात करते हैं, वो कहते हैं जी देखो, ये हज़ारों लोग हैं, हम क्या करें। तो वहाँ से हमने उस रश को भी कम करना है, और जिन लोगों को बहुत सीरियस प्रॉब्लम्स नहीं है, इमरजेंसी नहीं है, तो वो घर के बिल्कुल पास ट्रीट हो सकते हैं, उनका समय बचेगा।
लेकिन सत्येंद्र जी, आपने डॉक्टर्स की बात करी, अगर हमारी स्टोरी में आप देख सकते हैं कि डॉक्टर्स जो खुद ही हैं उस स्टोरी में, वो दे सीम सो फेड अप। एक डॉक्टर ने हमें बताया कि ये हॉस्पिटल ही इतना खराब है, आप यहाँ आए क्यों हैं। मतलब इट्स कम टू दैट, डॉक्टर्स भी तंग आ गए हैं।
मैडम देखो पता जैसा माहौल, हाँ फेडअप तो हो ही जाएगा ना, बट अब हमने जैसे अभी जो अपना क्लिनिक खोला है, ट्रायल बेस पे खोला है, और वहाँ पर 150, 160, 180 लोग डेली जा रहे हैं, और डॉक्टर ने मुझसे रिक्वेस्ट की सर इसका टाइम और बढ़वा दीजिएगा, मतलब शी इज़ वर्किंग फॉर 7 आवर्स, और वो कहती है और टाइम बढ़वा दीजिएगा। वो तो माहौल जैसा मिलेगा, क्योंकि सेंस ऑफ ऑनरशिप है, और साथ में उनको लग रहा है कि हमने कुछ पब्लिक के लिए काम कर रहे हैं, तो दिखाई देता है। आज ना लोगों को एक्चुअल वर्क देखिएगा, आप OPD कराने गए, अपने घर से घर वापस आने में 12 घंटे लग गए, डॉक्टर के साथ आपको सिर्फ 2 या 3 मिनट या 5 मिनट मिले, तो आपको डिससेटिस्फेक्शन रहा ना। अगर उसी काम को आपने घर से गए और आपने आधा घंटा या 1 घंटा लगाया, तो आपको सेटिस्फेक्शन लेवल बढ़ जाएगा। तो ये जो फ्यूचर मुझे नज़र आता है कि आपको बैक टू बेसिक्स, मतलब घर के पास जो अगर क्लिनिक होता है, घर के पास आपकी ट्रीटमेंट हो सकती है, आपको सिर्फ इमरजेंसीज के अंदर या कोई मेजर प्रॉब्लम है तभी अस्पताल जाना पड़े, तो वो चीज़ करनी पड़ेगी हमारे को।
सत्येंद्र जी, यहाँ तो स्टोरी में हमने दिखाया है किस तरह से ऑन कैमरा वी हैव डॉक्टर्स एंड हॉस्पिटल्स टर्निंग पेशेंट्स अवे। माय क्वेश्चन इज देन दैट क्या एटलीस्ट कोई इन्वेस्टिगेशन होनी चाहिए कि उन्होंने क्यों इन लोगों को मना किया? इन्वेस्टिगेशन होनी चाहिए,
बिल्कुल होना चाहिए। कि कौन सा हॉस्पिटल था तो बताएंगे आप?
हम आपको स्टोरी भेज देंगे, आप खुद ही देख लीजिए। बहुत सारे हॉस्पिटल हैं उसमें जो दिल्ली सरकार के अंडर आता है, वो आप देख सकते हैं।
ठीक है जी, अगर ऐसा है और हमारे हॉस्पिटल्स में है तो ज़रूर उसके खिलाफ कार्रवाई की जाएगी। और सबसे पहले कार्रवाई तो है कि उनको शायद डीमोटिवेटेड हो चुके हैं, उनको ट्रेन करने की आवश्यकता है, सॉफ्ट स्किल्स के अंदर उनकी ट्रेनिंग कराने की आवश्यकता है, तो वो ज़रूर कराएंगे। क्योंकि कई बार क्या होता है कि हमें नहीं पता होता उससे पहले उसके साथ क्या हुआ है या उससे दो पेशेंट पहले क्या चल रहा था, तो उसको भी देखना पड़ेगा कि डॉक्टर के साथ क्या चल रहा है।
सत्येंद्र जी, मेरा आखिरी सवाल ये है कि जहाँ तक पब्लिक हेल्थ की स्पेंडिंग की बात है, देयर इज ऑलरेडी क्रिटिसिज्म कि नेशनल लेवल पे वी आर नॉट स्पेंडिंग इनफ। इज दिल्ली स्पेंडिंग इनफ, इज माय क्वेश्चन।
देखिएगा मैडम, इस साल हमने ना अपना बजट 50% के करीब बढ़ाया है, बट बजट बढ़ाना इज़ नॉट द ओनली सॉल्यूशन। जो पैसा खर्च कर रहे हैं उस पैसे से हो क्या रहा है वो भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। आज इंडिया के अंदर जितने भी हेल्थ सर्विसेज, हेल्थ फैसिलिटीज़ बन रही है, जितने भी हॉस्पिटल्स बन रहे हैं, एवरेज हॉस्पिटल की कॉस्ट 1 करोड़ रुपया पर बेड से ज़्यादा आ रही है, जबकि आसानी से गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल को 20-25 लाख रुपये बनाया जा सकता है। तो हमें ये देखना पड़ेगा कि ऐसा नहीं हो कि हम पैसे ही खर्च करते चले जाएँ, उससे आउटपुट क्या आ रही है, दैट इज़ मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट देन स्पेंडिंग मोर मनी।
All right, Satyendra Jain, the Health Minister of Delhi, speaking to me just a little while earlier today. The question is whether our healthcare system has then completely collapsed, and what are the solutions then we need to look at from here. It's not like this doesn't happen in other parts of the country. Yes, it does. In fact, there are many places in this country where the situation is probably even worse. I think that this is a starting point for a debate on national television, because it's happening here in the national capital, and the death of that one-day-old baby just weeks earlier is something that has certainly shaken us to the core. Joining us on the program tonight, we have Rahul Verma, the co-founder of Uday Foundation, which actually helped those people whom we showed in that story, ultimately helped that gentleman get the MRI that he needed. Dr. K.K. Agarwal, the Secretary General of the Indian Medical Association, is with us. Rajesh Gupta, the Parliamentary Secretary for Health and MLA of the Aam Aadmi Party for here in Delhi. Kiran Walia, former Delhi Health Minister. Sanjay Kaul, spokesperson of the BJP. And Dr. M. Wali, senior physician at RML, one of the hospitals you saw there in that story, joining us on the program. Let me first ask Rahul Verma. Rahul, you have seen the ordeal that this particular family went through. At the end, how are they doing now? They got the MRI done, but how are they doing?
See, we are seeing this kind of patients from last almost 10 years. And I really appreciate the frankness of Delhi's health minister. He was too frank, actually.
Yeah, he was saying,
I've never seen a health minister speaking like this in the public forum. He accepting everything. But where he's lacking is, he's talking about Mohalla clinic. It is fantastic thing what he's doing. But what about the diagnosis? The basic issue right now these patients are facing is not about the
labs.
Yes, they're not facing about the treatment. We are getting about the diagnosis. He himself said, the problem is about even the ultrasound. With the blood test you had and other this diagnosis. And we have very fantastic labs like Dr. Naveen Dang. He's doing a wonderful thing here. If you go to Sports Injury Center in this Southern Hospital, they do MRI for only 3,500 or 2,500. So they are, and this Mahajan imaging, they are doing the same thing. So my suggestion to them is, first of all, find out some good people outside from the government who can handle the same thing. Just outsource the same thing. At least you are getting the diagnosis done. Number one. Number two, also I don't blame doctors in the same thing. I'm seeing these doctors again and again. This Dr. Saab is also sitting with me. I've seen this work for a long time. They are really overburdened because from the UP, from Maharashtra, from this Haryana, from Bihar. All patients are coming to Delhi. So first of all, they should identify this patient, get the diagnosis done on time. So we are going to save so many lives, and we are going to get at least some kind of dignity to them.
I understand what you're saying, Dr. Wali. I understand. It's obvious that the doctors are under pressure, and there is a huge, systemic problem here. But when you see patients being turned away and doctors, I guess, the stress is so much that they don't even have time to say a kind word. But look at the case of that baby. That baby could have been saved if he had got treatment in time, but 2 government hospitals turned them away and he died waiting for treatment in the 3rd one. So at some level, there has to be accountability even in the medical profession. How can this happen? Even in RML turned away, your hospital turned away these people and said, we can't do anything for you.
Well, Nidhi, it's very important to groom the doctors. Like nobody can sit on your chair unless properly groomed to the profession. The doctors are taught medicine, but they are not groomed into the garb of a proper healer. That is where our system is lacking, and this should be highlighted again and again. how to communicate with the patient. Even saying no to MRI is an art if it is not required, but the way it is to be said is to be learnt. You see, MRI is not the solution to any disease, but how to say no is not to be taught till today. Similarly, there are lots of things which we expect from the government hospitals. I've been working for last 40 years without taking any leave. I may be the exception, but the very fact that people who are willing to work overboard, overtime used to come in medical profession in the past from the very good families, those who were really at a discharge of service to the humanity. There was no lalach, no, even not an aim to earn money. Now, every family wants his child to be doctor, which is a wrong thing. Then there are classes of doctors. During my career, I have seen evolving different classes of the doctors. There is one class of doctors who have paid huge sums to the medical colleges abroad, and they have come back to India, who probably know less subject than our colleagues in India. This is one class. Doctors train abroad. They are creating also problem to sometimes to the consultant because of their exposure was less. When we were students, we were exposed to our normal OPDs, which means 100 to 200 patients a day. They were exposed to 5 OPD patients a day. How can I learn if I see only 5 patients in OPD? That's the difference, major difference. Then medical council kept a test, aptitude test, their qualification.
But Dr. Wali, where does a poor person go? Where does a poor person go?
I have understood a solution to this problem when I was told to come in this program. You see, there is no fault in the hospital, there is no fault in the patient. The fault lies in timing in a city like Delhi. If you need it tomorrow, you go to a government hospital at 8:45, the doctors will be there and they will be sitting without patients. The same room you go at 12 o'clock, there will be 100 patients in the same OPD.
Rahul
disagrees. It would be impossible to work.
And I do too, because
timing to go to government. No, sir. Please let me complete. You may not agree. Let me say my.
You mean not 8:45 patients are not coming. They are coming at their luxury. Come on, sir.
There are patients that stay all night outside AIIMS. They stay all night outside AIIMS.
You know, you go to AIIMS right now. 150 patients are sleeping outside, sir. Please.
Let me complete.
You can complete, but give the correct facts.
You come to the hospital, first be in the queue, get the first prescription, first 5 prescriptions, go to the doctor's room between 9 and 10. The nature of work would be totally different as you go at 12 o'clock because he's overburdened at that time. In All India Institute, people go and queue at 2 o'clock in the night to get an OPD card bed.
No, people, that's what I'm saying, that you know, people are at AIIMS all night. And by the way, I recently did a round of some 5 government hospitals in Delhi some months ago. Took the whole day to get an injection for somebody, and it was a nightmare, let me tell you. And I was sent from Mulchand to Safdarjung to AIIMS, and then ultimately to RML, and again, you know, that's another story. But you know, Dr. Agarwal, you know, come in on this. I read a very moving piece that Harsh Mandar wrote about his own experience with healthcare in in urban India, and he wrote something at the end where he said, to be poor in India is a crime, to be poor and also gravely ill is a crime that is deserving nothing less than the death penalty. That's how bad it is.
I represent the collective consciousness of 2.5 lakh doctors in the country, being the Secretary General of IMA. I don't agree that doctors are under pressure. They are not supposed to be. That's our job. That's our profession. If some doctor says I'm under pressure, he's not supposed to be a doctor. I don't agree a waiting list of 7 months. I don't accept it. Absolutely, we are not with the government. They say that we have a waiting list of 7 months. They must increase MRI number of seats. They must increase their machines. They cannot say that for an emergency I am sending a patient for 7 months. I sent a patient to GV Pant Hospital 4 days back, and he was diagnosed with left main coronary artery disease and given a surgery for 6 months. I fought with the doctor. I said, what the hell you are doing? How can you send a patient in an emergency and say we don't have a vacancy? No, it's not acceptable to the medical profession. Absolutely not acceptable. If MRI waiting list is 7 months, it means they have to buy more machines. Why can't they buy 10, 15 or 20 machines? Why do they have only 1 machine, 2 machines, 3 machines? It's not acceptable to the medical profession. Similarly, 12,000 rupees MRI is not acceptable to the medical profession. MRI
which is what it costs in the private sector.
It's not acceptable to the medical profession. If somebody is charging 12,000, he is doing a cheating with the profession, unless it is a contrast. They are charging separate for the contrast. MRI charges vary from 2,000 to 7,000 in the market. There will be places who will be doing for 2,000. They will be doing who will be depending upon the what type of a machine they have. So therefore, then there is a judgment available of Delhi High Court where in 2005 a patient could not get a bed. He got a treatment done from the private hospital, and Delhi High Court ordered that the government will have to sponsor and pay back his money. And these orders are available. Therefore, NGOs like
so the patient was turned away from the government hospital, went to.
If bed is not available, he has a right under Article 14 and Article 21 to go back. MCI has issued a letter. IMA has issued a letter to all its members that if you find an emergency, treat the patient and send the bill to the.
Rahul wants to interject on what you said.
Just let me complete. Let IMA fight for those patients who are being returned by government hospitals and they get treatment from private hospital. The government doesn't pay. It's the duty of the government under Article 21 to pay.
Okay. Let me. Rahul wants to just on this. Dr. Agarwal, let him come in on this point.
Is जिसका कोई नहीं उसका कौन है? There is a scheme of Arogya Nidhi. There is a scheme of Arogya Kosh in Delhi, and that money is not utilized. 100 crore rupees are lying with the government under Arogya Kosh. 10% of
Which
that.
government? Delhi or centre?
No, I'm talking about Delhi because the Delhi is being discussed, and that money is anybody who has a domicile of 3 years, family income of less than 3 lakhs, they are supposed to get free treatment. But that 10 crores is not being spent for the last 5 years. That money needs to be spent.
Okay, there are 2 or 3 important points you made, but Dr. Agarwal, I have to get everybody else in. Let me come back to you. Rahul wants to interject before I come to Kiran Walia and Sanjay. Yeah.
What my request and suggestion to you is that you start going and start visiting this hospital, talk to them. The diagnosis you are talking about, you go to Yusuf Sir, to the AIIMS, every second person is charging the same price. Dr. Sir, when you say about this court order and everything, and the NGO should do the work, we try to do our best, but Dr. Sir, we give up. Just trust me. NCRT book wrote a small story or whatever, with no offense. There was such a good headlines in the newspaper. I'm looking for some kind of headlines from your side.
Absolutely.
On for this poor patient, please.
No, but let me ask Dr. Wali on what you said. Dr. Wali, he says that it's wrong for doctors to say that they are under pressure.
They cannot.
But they're human. They're also human.
No, they are human beings, but they have to put an extra effort because we are dealing life. I'm not
doctors.
selling this glass of water. I'm not
doctors.
selling this. I am treating your life. When you go to doctor, you come to me, you give your hand in my hand. I am dealing you not as a nidhi, as without life, but you are giving your life in my hand. So I have a very, very great responsibility.
Let me offer 2 things. One, let me offer 2 things. One, we have come out with a scheme जिसका कोई नहीं उसका IMA. All state branches of IMA can be approached by people if they want concessional subsidy or a free treatment. IMA will help. All IMA doctors will help. We are sending circular to every doctor. Your duty is not to say that you can't afford, you go. Your duty is to tell if you can't afford, where to go. That's the duty of each one of us. Third, at Heart Care Foundation of India, at Samir Malik Heart Care Foundation Fund, I have fund available for 1 heart surgery every day. Let all NGOs listen to it and refer the case to me. I will get the surgery
I think
done.
Rahul will follow that.
One heart surgery
Let me just get everybody else. Let me open this debate.
Just a second. I'll just give a very small suggestion, Dr. Saab. Instead of asking for the NGOs, just put your board outside of AIIMS with your 2 mobile number that this is a thing you are doing.
That's a good point. Dr. Agarwal, let me just get Rajesh Gupta and the others into it.
How come a person who is fully illiterate, how is going to find where Uda Foundation is? Why should he come to me? I'm making something easy. Just put your board outside.
Okay. Let me just get Kiran Walia as a former health minister here in Delhi. Kiran Walia, we cannot today now turn around and say that the abysmal state of affairs as far as healthcare in the national capital is concerned is something that's happened in the last 1 year. This is something that's been going on for a long time. It is an edifice that has been crumbling and now seems to have virtually collapsed altogether. And therefore, do not successive governments, and especially those who've been here in the past, have to take responsibility? Who cares about healthcare politically in this country?
Yeah, I do appreciate the concern is not only yours, it's the entire nation's concern. But let me tell you, I'm not indulging in, small-time politics. But it is a fact that the situation has worsened deeply in the last 1 year. I'll tell you precisely where they have gone wrong. Now the hospitals have been, they have been now devoid of powers to buy medicines. They've been devoid of powers to appoint junior residents and senior residents. It can only be done from a central list. What will the medical superintendents do? And the central list has always been far short of the requirement of the number of medicines that the hospitals require. So today you do not even have gloves, sutures, the minimum things for anesthesia, for conducting an operation. The medical superintendent just throws his hands up in the air. So something is also wrong with the policy. You do not have an alternative policy, but you do away with the previous policy. That's led to a serious shortage of medicines, doctors, paramedical and everything. They are talking of Mohalla clinics. I'll be very happy if they give a roadmap from where will these doctors come. We already are so short of doctors, so short of everything, medicines. So from where will they get these doctors? Will they pull them out of the hospitals, or how will they arrange? I do not know. They've only said, yes, these Mohalla clinics, that sounds very fancy. But if it happens, if they can put it, implementation, it's a very good idea. But I would like to know as many things that they do, the roadmaps are not there.
I have seen hospitals like Safdarjung and others, and even the situation in AIIMS, it's something that's happened for years and has deteriorated very badly for years. I mean, maybe there are certain policy issues that are problematic and questionable, as you say, but this is something I'm simply asking. The healthcare budget in this country was never something that we could boast of, and we spent like some 1.2% of our GDP on public healthcare. It's 8.3% in the United States, 3% in China. Healthcare is not a priority issue. And I think all governments successively have been responsible for that. Isn't that a fact?
Yeah, I'll very briefly say that I totally endorse your view. I, for one, feel very strongly about poor patients suffering and left to themselves, and I'm sorry to say the private hospitals literally squeezing the patients, very often putting them to diagnostic tests which are not required, treatment which is not required, and it's become very unethical. So on one hand you have a totally private corporate sector running medical care. On the other hand, you have government hospitals we are overloaded, which cannot treat. This is the crux of the issue. Budget has to be increased. The central government had also promised, but it hasn't seen the light of the day. And as far as the Delhi government is concerned, it's a poor record, but yet it is the patient bed ratio is better than anywhere else in India. But Delhi,
yes, and which tells you how scary it is
in the rest of everybody in the entire area. Everybody comes to Delhi, so we have to have a balanced kind of spending on healthcare. Delhi has far more number of hospitals than required as far as population is concerned, but we have about 60 to 70% in some hospitals coming from outside Delhi. But in any case, medical help is not something that you can
Let me just
deny,
get Sanjay
you should
into
not
this.
deny. But
yeah, no, I just want to also, I think a lot of people don't know this, but hospitals in Delhi are, there are, as far as government hospitals are concerned, I think there are about 30 plus, if I'm not mistaken, which come under the Delhi government specifically,
hospitals.
and yes, and others that come under the center. So it's a mix. So Delhi has that unique situation. So Sanjay Kaul, let me ask you, for instance, about the budget.
But the AIIMS and
yes, they are under the center. They are under the center. That's what I'm saying. Sanjay Kaul, 33,150 crores were allotted for healthcare in Mr. Jaitley's budget, which was just pretty much the same as previous budgets, and has disappointed many in the healthcare sector who believed that at least with this government at the center, there would be perhaps a more comprehensive and a long-term vision on how to move ahead on healthcare. Sanjay.
No, I totally agree that we need to spend on
anybody who is illuminating that aspect.
Sorry, Sanjay, go ahead.
Anybody who is illuminating this part of the argument must also address, and I think a number of your panelists have accepted, that the problem is not just the budget, the problem is deployment, implementation, and in fact in many cases underspending. So in effect, when you ask for higher budgetary allocation, knowing full well that it is not going to be utilized, you're actually asking for graft, corruption and wastage of funds. This government is actually trying a completely new route to this whole thing. For instance, the share of states in the income tax collections has been increased by 10%, solid 10% from 32% to 42%. What it does is it allows a lot more states to spend a lot more at their discretion and takes away the central discretion. So this is how this is offset. Because the real problem, Nidhi, still remains, and I think everybody on your panel has agreed, that it's not just a matter of money. It's the matter of utilization. It's a matter of the number of hospitals. It's about quality. It's about delivery. It's about outcomes. And I think those are the real issues that we need to address. So these are systemic and endemic. And it's no use trying to determine that these are central hospitals and state hospitals. All of them are roughly on the same scale, suffering at the cost of all of these aspects. So when you say that the poor suffer more, it's an empirical truth, and the poor suffer more everywhere. In Delhi, for instance, Delhi spends 4 times more than any other state on health. And if this is the state of hospitals in Delhi, just imagine what Orissa, what Uttar Pradesh, what Jharkhand or Bihar would be like.
I completely agree with you.
So the problem is not going to be settled when people talk about doctors, their responsibilities, and yes, so I just want to finish that it's not really about doctors advertising how wonderful they are and how they should be doing great work.
The man in charge of healthcare in Delhi is Rajesh Gupta, who's sitting right here. Rajesh ji, आपने ये story देखी, you've seen what is that. मतलब there is, you know, what is the way out here? मतलब आपकी सरकार भी मतलब you are focusing on मोहल्ला clinics, but hospitals का भी तो कुछ करना है ना?
बिल्कुल. मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि ज़्यादातर पैनलिस्ट ने जो बात करी उससे मैं एग्री करता हूँ, कुछ बातों को छोड़कर. अपार्ट फ्रॉम किरण वालिया जी जो टोटली उसको पॉलिटिकली प्रेस्क्रिप्ट करना चाहती हैं, तो उससे मैं डिसएग्री करता हूँ पूरी तरीके से. मैं एक एक करके अगर लेने की कोशिश करूँ तो जैसे कि डॉक्टर साहब जो आर्मिल में हैं उन्होंने कहा कि बहुत प्रेशर है डॉक्टर्स में. मैं उसको कुछ हद तक एग्री करता हूँ, क्योंकि जिस तरीके का प्रेशर है, जैसे उन्होंने बताया कि दिल्ली के आसपास के जो स्टेट्स हैं वहाँ पे हॉस्पिटल नाम के भी नहीं है. तो अगर आप जाके देंगे तो हरियाणा से, यूपी से बहुत लोग, मेरठ से बागपत तक से लोगों को यहाँ पे आना पड़ता है, और हम उन्हें मना कर नहीं सकते क्योंकि ये राइट है और बिल्कुल ह्यूमैनिटी के हिसाब से मना नहीं कर सकते. लेकिन साथ साथ मैं डॉक्टर साहब की बात से भी इत्तेफाक रखता हूँ कि हम ये भी कहना कि डॉक्टर्स को प्रेशराइज नहीं होना चाहिए. पॉलिटिक्स या डॉक्टर्स का जो प्रोफेशन है वो एक्चुअली उस तरीके का प्रोफेशन नहीं है जहाँ हम उसको सिर्फ प्रोफेशन मान दें. वो एक सेवा का तौर का काम है, तो हमें काम तो करना पड़ेगा. उसके बाद में जो राहुल जी ने बात करी कि डायग्नोस्टिक सेंटर्स की बात करी, तो मैं आपको यकीन दिलाता हूँ कि हम बहुत सारे जॉइंट वेंचर्स पे काम कर रहे हैं. पीपीपी मॉडल्स पे पहले भी काम हो चुका है. खासतौर के अगर आप देखें तो डायबिटीज़ के मामले में हम जब करते हैं तो उसे डायलिसिस के लिए हम लेते हैं, तो पीपीपी मॉडल से बहुत जगह काम हो रहे हैं. और एमआरआई मशीन्स या अल्ट्रासाउंड मशीन्स के बारे में हम ये विचार कर रहे हैं कि किस तरीके से जो बड़े बड़े कैंपसेस हैं, बड़े बड़े हॉस्पिटल्स से शायद उनके बीच में कहीं पे जो स्पेशली इसी काम के लिए.
डॉक्टर अग्रवाल ने बात कही उससे पहले कि एमआरआई मशीन और व्हाई आरंट मोर ऑफ देम बॉट. So, आप मुझे बताइए कि उसका कॉस्ट क्या है? I'm seriously asking you, एक एमआरआई मशीन का कॉस्ट क्या है?
This is exactly the reason why we increased our budget to 1.5% to buy those machines. अब डॉक्टर्स को लगाने की बात हुई, 1 साल पहले भी डॉक्टर्स कम थे, नर्सेज जो पैरामेडिकल है. अब आप एक बेड के साथ में जब डॉक्टर्स को बढ़ाना होता है, हमारे को पूरा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर चाहिए. ये बेड ऐसे नहीं है कि बेड लाके रख दिए, डॉक्टर सीधे नहीं बढ़ाए जा सकते, पूरा का पूरा कैंपस तैयार करना पड़ता है. इट्स अ वेरी लॉन्ग काइंड ऑफ अ स्टोरी. उसके लिए हम पूरी कोशिश कर रहे हैं, उसी के लिए बजट भी बढ़ाया गया. और जो लोग इसमें काम कर रहे हैं, अभी सिर्फ 4 या 5 महीने सरकार को हुए हैं, लेकिन जिस तरीके से हमने 3 बेड्स हॉस्पिटल्स के बारे में आपने सुना कि हमने एक बेड को, जो मेरी विधानसभा में आता है, एक हॉस्पिटल को सॉरी, तो 200 से 400 पे बढ़ा दिया गया. थोड़े से चेंजेस करे गए और उसके इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को थोड़ा सा चेंज करा तो 200 से 400 कर दिए गए. एक को 200 से 800 कर दिया. और जिसका 200 करोड़ अस्पताल का जो बजट था, जो बुरारी का अस्पताल है, जो 200 करोड़ था, सिर्फ 50 करोड़ अगर हम बढ़ाते हैं तो 600 और बढ़ते हैं.
आपका एंड यू आर राइट, आप ये कह रहे हैं दैट इट्स अ लॉन्ग टर्म प्रॉब्लम और इसमें टाइम लगेगा.
देयर आर टू काइंड ऑफ अ सॉल्यूशन. एक लॉन्ग टर्म है, एक शॉर्ट टर्म है. दोनों के ऊपर काम करा जा रहा है. जो शॉर्ट टर्म सॉल्यूशंस हो सकते हैं उनके ऊपर ध्यान दिया जा रहा है कि लीकेज कहां पे रोकी जा सकती है. जैसे कि अभी मंत्री जी ने कहा, जो सत्येंद्र जैन जी ने कहा,
losing their lives. And we got Dr. Naresh Trehan who's also joined us. You know, the reason why we did this story is because that baby died in Delhi a few weeks ago. 1-day-old child got turned away by 2 government hospitals and at the end died while waiting for treatment at a third. You just came in, so very interesting points of view were put here. I want to put each one to you. First, are doctors under so much pressure that they have to turn patients away? Dr. Wali says they are, Dr. Agarwal says they should not be.
No, the question of turning away somebody doesn't arise. The basic problem, you must understand, all over the world, no government has been able to provide healthcare on its own to all its citizens, including United States, including NHS. Our population is 4 times that of United States, and our budget is 1/100th of what America spends. So it's not a mystery. The basic thing is, today there is a large amount of facilities in the private sector and the government sector and the NGOs. The problem is that we are all divided by thick firewalls and we have no relationship with each other. We must understand that every asset, healthcare asset on the ground, is India's first and then belongs to the government. It doesn't even belong to the government keeps changing and then it has to operate it. Similarly, the private hospitals also, first they are Indian assets, then they belong to somebody else. So we must understand that today if we break down those thick walls, there is a shortage of doctors, nurses, paramedical personnel, technicians. You can buy all the machines in the world. You will not be able to deliver healthcare till we all work together seamlessly. And I can tell you today, if we did that, 50% more healthcare will be delivered without spending another single penny in infrastructure.
Is the private sector doing enough? And
the private sector, I can assure you, if the government reached out to the private sector is already doing procedures for CGHS, for Delhi government, for everybody at half the price. But the problem is the payments don't come. So hospitals are then dying under the strain of no payments for facility or the services already offered. They are paying interest to the banks. So this whole thing does not work. So I can tell you today on a national platform that if the government, whether it's central or whether it's state, whichever state, if it worked, assessed the total assets on the ground, no matter who they
public,
belong
private,
to,
or
no matter who they belong to, seamlessly. Where you have to buy services, you buy services, but pay for it.